Hello, everyone. I am Russ Frushtick. I am joined by Andy Hull of Story Fort. Welcome, Andy.
How's it going?
Great, great. We have a game here that you've made.
Yeah.
It is called Dunklords.
It is. I think it's pretty self-explanatory what to expect from that. There will be dunking.
Sure.
There'll be awesome people doing the dunking.
It seems like there's a sentient strawberry.
There is.
The
This is the far future where fruit have been genetically crossbred with humans to be incredible basketball players.
Yes, very important.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's jump into some of the action because I feel like the game speaks for itself.
I think so. I think once we get going, I think people get the idea.
Yes.
I mean, you know, if you played NBA Jam and you like shoving your friends,
I like slamming my friends.
Yeah. So basically, we're just taking that to the logical conclusion.
Yes.
Where you might as well just have an all-out fight while you do it.
Okay.
And so basically, I'm trying to take kind of what fighting games do with special moves and characters, and kind of mix that with arcade 2-on-2 basketball. And then on top of that, there's also an economy in the game, and you can buy kind of Diablo-style gear that'll give you special abilities in between quarters to like boost kind of what your guys can do.
Sure.
So, and as you can see here, it's off to a fast start.
It is.
The game is pretty frantic.
Very intense. I think this is even faster than NBA Jam, remarkably.
Yeah. So, so as you can see here, basically, each character has the circle under them, and you'll see sometimes they have the pink stars, like right there under them. Those are your special moves.
I'm not even going to address the fish yet.
Okay. So everybody has special moves, but to get special moves, you got to dunk the ball.
Yes.
Because, it's called Dunklords.
Right, yes.
So to get lots of dunking in the game, and that's like the primary mechanic.
Well, that was just like a little layup.
So he's out of turbo, right? So
you can't dunk if you don't have turbo?
So you need your turbo meter filled.
Sure.
And if you're getting punched and hit, you're going to lose turbo.
Okay.
So you're going to be getting drained, you're going to be tired, you're going to start huffing and puffing.
Yeah.
You won't be able to do dunks, and you won't be able to do the counter to the dunk, which is the uppercut.
Okay.
So, a lot of times in basketball games, they go for a dunk. That's it. It's all over.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can be done. But in Dunklords, that's the time to throw the uppercut. You just knock them right out.
That seems like a good counter to a dunk.
So, and that was basically the genesis for the whole game.
This dunk counter dunk.
Like basically when I realized that I could have this like counter dunk play with the uppercut, that was when the prototype went from like, this is kind of a fun little basketball thing, to like this is something really cool.
Was it always an uppercut?
It was right from the start, because I was basically like, well, what could knock someone out of the air?
Sure. Uppercut
makes sense, and then it just went from there. And then after that, I added like fireballs and stuff like that, and tried to pull in kind of the fighting game moves. So the first quarter ended. You'll see they're getting some money here.
Yes.
You can earn additional money from some of those spots on the court.
Okay, yeah, I saw it.
Where the dollar
kind of like a
are.
rock and jock sports, if you will.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Derek here is playing. Derek, who I worked on with Splunky, is our player off camera here. So he's looking through some of the items. So right there, he's looking at some shoes that'll make all your dunks worth 3 points. So all these items basically are going to boost your ability in some way. So that, that one reduces damage by 50%, prevents you from being knocked down. So a lot of what you're doing is trying to buy items that supplement the abilities and stats of the characters that you pick.
Cool.
So like the bear, for instance, he's really bad at shooting.
Sure.
But he's really strong. He can take a lot of damage. He has that fish attack, which you just saw there.
Yeah.
Which does 2 hits close range for a ton of damage. So basically, like if you want to play and just beat the snot out of the other team.
Yeah.
Like that's who you pick. And because you can
He's
win
a
with a very low score,
Yeah.
right, if you're beating them up enough. Whereas like the other guy he's got Slice there is, he's kind of like your all-around good player. He's pretty strong, he's a good basketball player. He's pretty good at threes, he's not the best. But he's kind of like your all-around like
But why would you be going for threes? I thought you should be dunking.
Well, so threes give you 3 points, though, right? So
sure.
you still are trying to win the game.
Yes.
So as much damage as you do and as many dunks as you do, you're not going to win if you don't have more points in the end. So 3-pointers are still valuable.
Yeah.
And actually, the way the shot pads are set up, so you'll notice the bonus pads that are inside the 3-point line.
Yeah.
So basically, this was my attempt at solving kind of one of actual basketball's greatest flaws.
Okay, so you're fixing basketball here.
This exactly.
Joe Naismith created basketball 100 years ago.
Oh, well, it's been fixed plenty of times since he made
Okay,
it.
but
Like,
this
when
is
he
the best
made it, it was
version.
like peach baskets and you
Yes.
couldn't dribble. So
Right.
we're way past that.
Okay, fine.
but so we got power-ups in kind of what is like the long 2-point range,
Yes.
right? Because the thing is that in actual basketball, you either want to stand behind the 3-point line and take a low percentage shot with a chance of getting 3 points, or you want to make a layup or a dunk, which is almost guaranteed to go in for your 2 points.
Sure.
A mid-range jumper, it's like bad
Why take that
strategy,
risk?
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So percentage-wise, it's the worst shot. But if you have a chance to get money, which will help you buy gear later in the game,
Sure.
Now all of a sudden, hey, maybe that's the play.
So I should tell Mello, like, what are you doing? Why do you keep shooting from 15 feet out, essentially?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a mistake strategically. But I mean, it's the same with football. They don't go for it on fourth enough. But
That's true.
yeah, math not always the strongest suit there of some of those teams. So basically, what happens though as you get farther into the game is like the money keeps ramping up. So
Yes.
you get money at the end of each quarter. The money amounts keep going up and up and up, and you keep gearing up. So by the time you get to the fourth quarter, like things are just crazy. So that's one of the other things I really like about the way this plays in comparison to like other arcade sports games.
Yeah.
Where like the first quarter is generally the same as the fourth quarter. Like nothing really, there's no story arc to the
Sure.
game. Whereas in this, right, if your opponent buys an item that gives them money when they uppercut you, you can counter by buying armor that when they uppercut you, it does damage to them. So now all of a sudden, maybe they don't want to be uppercutting you as much, even though they have the bonus.
Sure.
So there's a lot of like counter picking items when you're playing.
Interesting. And you can see what the other person is picking, obviously.
You can
Yeah.
see what they bought, and so there's a lot of kind of you have to see what you think your opponent's going to do and kind of build your strategy around it. If you're just trying to play basketball like straight up, you're definitely going to lose.
Right. Well, with honeybee hives on your head, that's instantly very difficult.
Yeah. So that move in particular. So every character actually has 2 special moves.
Okay.
Both of the moves will take a star to do. So if you don't have a star from dunking,
Sure.
you won't be able to do it.
Yeah.
Bear, for instance, he can do the fish slap.
Yes.
There. Or they have a charge move where you can hold down the special attack button. And if you fill the meter up, they'll do a more powerful attack. And Bear does that honeybee one.
Yes.
Which will cover their head and actually scrambles their controller. So they end up basically totally, confused running around.
Oh, I see.
So, if they're on a fast break and you're like, oh no, I can't stop them, you're like, now you got honeybees on your head. What are you going to do?
Sure.
So that is the shot clock.
Shot clock came just smashing down on him.
When you run out of time, there's no like whistle.
Yeah.
You don't inbound the ball. The shot clock just falls on you.
Yeah.
It crushes you. Also,
I think that keeps things moving because I always feel like NBA Jam that just like shut everything down when you would.
Yeah, you make a basket and then it's like, oh no, I'm not gonna inbound the ball.
Right, it's slow.
What is this about? So you'll notice when the ball goes in, what happens actually is there's a burst out from the ball. There's like a little explosion that will only push back the team that made the basket.
Oh.
So it allows a window of time where it's easy for the other team to get the rebound and go the other way, but it doesn't actually stop and inbound the ball. And you can build strategies around ways to delay your opponent from picking up the ball in that window so that you can like chain together multiple possessions.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. And obviously, no goaltending to worry about.
Or
is there?
Well, there's no goaltending. However, the game will ignore collisions on balls that are headed downward towards the basket.
Okay.
Because it was absurdly broken when it wasn't in there. You could just pick Bear and have him stand directly under the basket and just jump, and it was it. So you can't actually use it as a strategy.
Yes.
And then you'll also note the M on the floor there with the yellow marks around it. So those are the mega pads.
Okay.
Now, if you make 4 shots from the mega pad, which I think Derek can actually make one. Oh, I think he missed it.
Choked it.
I think he missed. Oh, get it. So if he makes a 4th from there, that M will light up.
Okay.
And if he hits it, he will grow to like 4 times his normal size.
Let's see it.
Let's do this, Derek.
Derek, don't
no
blow.
pressure.
Don't blow.
No pressure.
Oh, God. Embarrassing.
So we'll get there though.
What does that M stand for?
Mega.
Oh, it's a mega.
Yeah. So
mega
that
pad. I think he missed it again.
I think he did. He's winning quite handily though.
Yeah, he is doing well.
Okay,
Now,
I think he got it. Did
he? Oh yeah, there you go.
So now it'll light up in a second. So when he goes back down the court, he'll be able So he'll be able to get down there and touch it.
Okay.
And then
He just has to walk on it. And he's very large now. And he's slamming.
and you can dunk through the ceiling. So
And
once
what does that do for you?
So basically, when you're in Mega Mode, your dunks can't be stopped. Uppercuts won't stop your
Okay.
dunking. And also, when you're in that giant form, all you have to do is hold in turbo and run through people, and
Oh.
they'll get knocked away and drop the ball. So you're
Fantastic.
basically just like giant wrecking ball
Yeah.
for a few seconds. I mean, it lasts I think like 8 seconds or
Yeah.
something. So it's not like a hugely long period of time.
Well, let's maybe see one more map, and we'll switch up the characters a little bit.
Yeah. So let's head to Buffberry Beach.
Okay.
So Derek, if you want to pull up the stats on the characters here, so you can also pull up
Oh,
the stats
there you go.
on all the characters while you're picking, so you know like what's going on.
Well, I want to see the strawberry.
All right.
Orwell. Why is he called Orwell?
Science fiction, robot.
Well, Marlon is like a kind of fish, so maybe
Mar-
that
well,
made
Mar-
sense. Is that where that came
Marlon,
from?
no, I actually just like the name Marlon,
Oh, okay.
but like it's because with an I guess is the fish.
Yes,
right?
but I thought it was just like kind of
yeah,
a
it would be.
play on words.
I should tell people that because it sounds smarter than my
Yeah,
answer.
well, the
Like,
fish that come out
I
are
like it.
salmon, so it would make you feel
Okay.
dumber, actually.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you just Orwell makes sense
So
because he's a robot and it's like dystopian.
exactly.
Sure, I'm down
So,
with that.
so here we have
Whoa,
another
okay.
court. So we were playing on like the starter court before. That's basically like the first court you encounter.
Yeah.
It's actually Dunk Baby Academy because that's where Dunklords are born.
Sure.
All the other courts in the game kind of have a court gimmick that's going on to
Yeah.
kind of like make things a little more interesting. So on the beach level, you got these spinning wheels here. So the star pads you didn't really see before.
Yeah.
Those are just you get another special move if you can make a shot from there.
Oh, I see.
And if you dunk from one, you'll actually get 2 stars. You get one
Cool.
from dunking, one for
Using
the
the
shot.
star power,
yeah.
yeah.
And the music on this level, you'll actually note, is by Laura Shigihara, who did the music for Plants vs. Zombies.
Yeah.
So she's actually going to be doing the majority of the soundtrack for the game.
Whoa, very
so
cool.
That is. I
Is
think
she writing
announced
lyrics
it.
as well?
There'll probably be some lyrics on some songs.
Okay.
Like, there's definitely.
We have the rap. We already know
There
about the
is a
rap.
rap. I don't know if that's finalized yet, but there's definitely going to be.
You don't know if there's going to be a rap or not?
Well, no, there's definitely going to be a rap. I mean,
Okay.
if it's that particular rap is
Sure.
the question. But yeah, I mean, the idea is that, it's very inspired by kind of like 90s hip hop and like it's kind of a blend of like all the stuff I grew up with,
Yes.
like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, NBA Jam, Street Fighter. Like it's like all these things that I loved growing up, just in this like kind of cheese ball mix that I think is really fun.
Yes, absolutely. You were talking earlier that you actually don't need to hire voice actors because you've done a better job than anyone could on the planet.
So that is untrue about the ability, but yeah. So right now, since it's mainly just me working on the game, I've had a few contractors help out with artwork, but it's mainly just me. I've actually done all of the voice work that's in the game right now, except for the female character,
Sure.
which is my wife,
Okay.
of course, because it was 2 days before I was flying here,
Yes.
and she didn't have a voice yet. So I was like, "Honey, come downstairs. I got some lines for you to read."
Just at the last minute. Very good.
Yeah, so I am planning on hiring professional voice actors.
That's a burn on your wife. I'm just saying.
It's a burn on me as well, though. So I feel like it's fair. It's a
Sure.
burn on the whole family.
Yes.
But I am planning on upgrading all the voices of the characters. But it's one of those things like while you're working on a game by yourself, like you got to get that content in.
Very
you got to
true.
do what you got to do.
Yes.
And so there you'll see that's Barry's charge move is to like rain down strawberry bombs. across
Yes.
the
And we
court.
saw the jam earlier.
Yes, and he can catch people in his jam jar, which
Yes.
is good. Now, Abby, the female character, she has a neat ability where she actually throws additional power-up pads onto the ground on her
neat.
side of the court.
Cool.
So she can basically boost your other
Okay.
characters.
She's like a support character.
Yeah, and she also, though, gets her passive ability. So every character also has a passive ability that you don't have to do anything for. But hers is that she gets greatly increased shot accuracy when she's shooting from a shot pad.
Oh, cool.
So she wants to throw the pads down and then take shots from those pads, and she's
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay.
If she's shooting off the pad, she's actually pretty
It's like a
average.
Reggie Miller type.
Yeah. It's the pressure's got to be on. And then the other guy, Weber. So his charge move is he'll actually summon like a baby spider that comes and helps him.
Okay.
And that'll actually like intercept balls for you and tip them back towards you.
Cool.
And his regular move is to drop a giant bookcase on you.
Yes, we saw the bookcase earlier.
That is an interesting ability because it can use it to fall on people to hit them. You can also use it to block other people's attacks. So if you pop the bookshelf up in front of another attack, it'll block
Oh wow, okay.
so he's kind of got a pretty versatile move. And then Orwell has the laser, which is probably the best flat out just attack ability in the game at the moment. And then his charge move. Derek, are you Orwell? Are you playing as Orwell? Okay. So Derek can show do you want to do the charge move real quick? So he's got these
sweet.
These giant saw blades that come out
that track people.
Yeah. And so basically what you're trying to do when you're playing with your friends, right, is that you're just trying to win the one game. The economy is like self-contained within that one game.
Yeah.
In the final game, though, there's also going to be a story mode.
Oh, cool.
So you start out as Slice, the character that we saw in the last game. And you're kind of following his journey to become a Dunklord. But as he meets other characters in the game and defeats them, they kind of like will join his party, almost like an RPG.
Sure.
And so when you play different games going forward in the story, you can select your team from any of the characters you've kind of unlocked in the single player.
Yeah.
And also, like, the equipment that you buy in the single player is permanent. So you'll be buying it, instead of in between quarters, you'll be buying it in between games and gearing up almost like Diablo, trying to, like, get through the story.
Yeah.
And the other cool thing is that you're going to be able to play this story mode co-op with your friend.
Very cool.
Like, you and your friend will be on the same team playing through the story mode all the way through.
Cool.
Which I think, is something that I really like to do. I actually, the first time I beat Gears of War was like with a buddy.
Great co-op game.
It was like amazing experience. So I was like, and I mean, it's 2-on-2 basketball. Of course you want to play with your friend. So
absolutely. We all have very fond NBA Jam memories, I would say.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be like a neat way to play through the single player experience.
Yeah. Talk to me about what platforms you're looking at.
So I'm already definitely doing Steam.
Okay.
And then I've been talking with basically all the consoles at this point. I've talked to them and I'm trying to see. So this game I started working on this game long ago enough that Ouya came up.
It was a consideration.
It was a consideration, and obviously not anymore. But there was a point at which I bought an Ouya to see if I could make it work. But yeah, I mean, the thing is like I could see this being fun on a lot of systems. I think I'm just gonna have to see what makes the most sense.
I was just saying Nintendo Switch seems like a very good fit for this.
It does.
We'll see if we can make it happen.
It does. So, we'll see. I'm excited to see it on console because that's what I grew up with.
Yeah.
And there's something really magical about playing it on a TV as opposed to like just on your laptop or something. So I'm really hoping I can, make that happen. And even better, I think like my dream scenario is to get one of those like limited run editions of the game, a physical version.
Sure.
Because my whole basement is like full of old retro games. Like I have like a giant game collection. Yeah. And to be able to like slide my own game in there, it'd be a good moment. It'd be pretty great.
It's something to work towards.
It'd be pretty great.
Well, Derek is doing a very good job, but I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up there. Thank you so much for coming by, Andy. The game is looking super dope.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I really want to play some more of it. Anyway, this was Dunklords. Thank you so much for watching.